There's a lot of people that ask me, like, do you know somebody that's NABCEP Associate, or do you know somebody that has a NABCEP certification that I can hire? Somebody was asking me that yesterday. They called me up and they're like, I need somebody in New York with PV Associate. So I said, go to the NABCEP website and you can do a search by zip code and a radius, and you can figure out like all the NABCEP people. Like, I was trying to get people to translate my HeatSpring classes into Spanish. I went to Mexico on the NABCEP website. I hit that Mexico, I don't know if it was a zip code, but I found like some really cool people that are translating my PV Associate classes on HeatSpring right now.
If you're not familiar with this guy, Mr. Shawn White, then you have somehow missed a decade plus of training in this industry. So I'd like to introduce you. Mr. Shawn White is the Trainer of the Year for IREC's NABCEP Trainer of the Decade, Mike Holt Award winner. What else have you been awarded?
Let's see. I've got a lot of NABCEP certifications, so that's really cool. Did you know that if you get all the NABCEP certifications, you have more letters in the alphabet?
Well, Shawn, if anybody's watching this, they're wondering, why is Shawn wearing this absolutely fabulous Michael Jackson style leather jacket?
Well, like they came up with this 80s theme party for tonight. So I'm like, I just got that NABCEP spirit, right, for the 80s theme. And then I tried to figure out like different ways to make it fit in. And so this jacket that it came with a Michael Jackson glove. I got the real solar installer energy storage glove that came with my NABCEP
with your certification,
that they gave me. Like, they gave me this backpack yesterday. It was really cool and all that kind of stuff. So, so for NABCEP Spirit, but then one other thing, do you know about like rapid shutdown? Like, there's like rapid shutdown of PV systems on buildings. And so of course you do. And so there's 690.12 B2 in the 2017 NEC, it was A, B, and C, and they changed it to 1, 2, 3, like A, B, C. G's, yes, 1, 2, 3. So,
Shawn, this is the most fun interview. We are live at the SunCast Media Zone here at NABCEP 2024 in Raleigh, North Carolina. The Media Zone is presented by LG Electronics Energy Storage Systems, and I'm really honored to have Shawn White, the IREC Trainer of the Year, here in the flesh. Shawn, what is the class that you're teaching at NABCEP over and over and over this year?
Yeah, so my gig for the NABCEP conference is the associate class. And so we talk about the NABCEP PVA, that's the PV Associate, and that's what I do. So like pretty much the whole conference all the time. And so today we're going from 9 to 5:30, and then we have some breaks in between. Tomorrow the same thing, and then the third day it's a half a day.
So anyone can come to the conference and basically get their PV Associate certification?
Yeah. It's not actually officially a certification. It's a credential. And so that they can come here, they take my class, and then they can go take the test.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so you get the credential, and then to take the test, you take the test to get the credential.
Yeah, you take the test and you get this like really pretty certificate that your mom will be proud of.
What does PV Associate qualify me for then?
Well, it's like all of these like NABCEP things. It's like, as far as like, what does it qualify for you? It qualifies you for respect. RESPECT. Is that 80s?
I think that's 60s, but I'm sticking with the theme. I like the Jackson theme.
Yeah, the 60s, they're kind of
Motown
related.
Theme.
Yeah.
But I guess more specifically, if folks are out there who have never really considered certification, why would you suggest that they do consider even the entry-level PV Associate certification for NABCEP? Yeah,
so it does give you a ton of respect. And those people that are not NABCEP certified, do we respect them? I mean, they're kind of not too respected. And it's just like a great way to prove that what you've done. Like, just kind of look at a college degree or something like that. Like, there's a lot of jobs that you could get without a college degree. So some people say like, well, why go to college? But of course, you're going to get a lot greater chance of getting hired. You're going to know your stuff. So whenever you take a test, you study a lot for the test, and you prove that you know your stuff. So there's a lot of people that ask me, like, do you know somebody that's NABCEP Associate, or do you know somebody that has a NABCEP certification that I can hire?
Yeah.
Like, somebody was asking me that yesterday. They called me up and they're like, I need somebody in New York with PV Associate. So I said, go to the NABCEP website and you can do a search by zip code and a radius, and you can figure out like all the NABCEP people. Like, I was trying to get people to translate my HeatSpring classes into Spanish. I went to Mexico on the NABCEP website.
Whoa.
And I hit that Mexico, I don't know if it was a zip code, but I found like some really cool people that are translating my PV Associate classes on HeatSpring right now.
That's fantastic. Well, you mentioned your PV classes on HeatSpring. A lot of folks maybe couldn't make it to Raleigh for the NABCEP conference. Where can they find education, quality, credential education online to become NABCEP certified?
So the easy website that I'm going to give you right now is my name, SolarSean, SeAN.com. And then I have links there to HeatSpring that's got all my HeatSpring classes. Plus you can contact me there to do in-person classes that are live, Zoom classes and all that. But the HeatSpring is the best.
So a company can bring someone like Sean in to actually teach the entire installation crew, or maybe in the sales crew, and get them up to at least PV Associate, if not PVIP or other. What are the other alphabet soup of credentials that are offered through NABCEP?
Okay, how much time do we have? We've got the best one is the PVIP, PV Installation Professional.
It's one of the most known.
I used to be on the committee to write the test questions for that one. But
that must be fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun hanging out with all these super smart people and around this table, and they're like legends and stuff like that. And then there's a brand new one that kind of goes with that, that's for energy storage, and it's the ESIP. That's the Energy Storage Installation Professional. I just took that one. And then there's some specialist exam. And so we have the PV Design Specialist, PV Installer Specialist, PV Commissioning and Maintenance Specialist. And then we have the PV System Inspector exam. And then we have the PVTS, which is the PV Technical Sales exam. So there's that's more than an alphabet.
Right. Yeah. And I think that actually the latter one is the one that is the least understood and probably the most needed and respected.
Oh, the technical sales? Yeah. I know. I get all these phone calls and stuff from people that are just telling me lies and making up all kinds of crazy stuff. Right? And so they need to get educated.
That's right.
Yeah.
And one great way to do that is taking Sean's course, or there are numerous courses. I would recommend that you go to the IREC Trainer of the Year. Sean has been, you've been in the industry for a couple of decades at least.
Well, I've been doing solar training for 16 years.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. As long as I've been in the industry, I've known, it was like the old guard, John Wiles and Bill Brooks. No offense to either of you.
Oh, no, those
legends.
Are awesome dudes.
Mike Holt. And then it was like all sort of the Sean Whites of the world that were beginning, that were in, when I was just starting my solar company. I remember you were starting your training, and it's been fun to watch you evolve as effectively like the trainer of record, in my opinion. Like I see when folks refer to, how do I get started? It's like, go to HeatSpring and check out Sean White's class. Are any of them free on HeatSpring? Oh
yeah, there's lots of free classes. And one of the things that we do too is Brian, the owner of HeatSpring, he's going after companies and he's getting them all signed up for lots of free classes and stuff like that. And so they go on and they just take free classes. And then if they like it good enough, they can do the paid classes and stuff too. So I have like introduction classes, free classes that count towards NABCEP credits and all that kind of stuff. So there's lots of free stuff, a good way to get started. Yeah.
You also recently, I feel like it was maybe not so recently, but I sort of stumbled across your podcast. I didn't realize you were doing a podcast. How's that going?
Yeah, it's like a side job, and so it's just kind of fun.
What's it called?
It's called Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. I can't say it any other way. I have to say it that way. And so it just kind of started off where I was like taking stuff that I was doing in classes and piecing some of that together. And I have Bill Brooks in a lot of my classes and stuff like that. Reciting the NEC like poetry. That was a lot of fun. And then lately it's kind of evolved into something where I sit down for about an hour and just kind of have a conversation.
Yeah.
And try to get to know people, maybe like document some.
So you're doing interviews,
solar history, all that kind of stuff. I'm doing interviews, but I'll do other stuff too.
Do
whatever.
You do solo episodes as well, where you just sort of unpack stuff that's not necessarily course based, but just sort of topics of concern?
I was doing that before, but not as much. But we'll see where it evolves. I don't have any, strong way of like saying like this is the only way that it's going to be or anything like that. So I'm just trying to have fun. So, I think that you got to have fun.
Absolutely,
and that's how to learn. That's how it sticks to your cerebrum.
If there were one class that you think everybody in the industry should take, what would that be?
I think the PV Associate, it just gives everybody the basics. There's a lot of people out there, even CEOs, that can crash their company because they don't just understand the basics, like where the sun is in the sky. What's the difference between, current and voltage and all these basics that just everybody should know.
Yeah. Yep. And then as you look out beyond 2024, is there anything on the horizon that either has you particularly concerned that that course curriculum is being developed around, or something that on the other side has you really excited?
I know that the energy storage has taken off like really fast. And so I had to put together my energy storage installation professional class really quick. And so I'm still like working on that, tuning that up. What I've been working on too is like more building and fire code stuff.
Yeah.
NFPA 855, which is like a standard for energy storage systems. So it's keeping me busy. I'm spending like sometimes like 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
My goodness.
Like working on this stuff. Plus I go to the gym. So
yeah.
Gotta have time for everything.
Well, speaking of, you've got to give the mental workout to your PV Associates class in about 5 minutes. I'm going to let you moonwalk on out of here. But once again, for folks who are unfamiliar with how to connect with you, the best website is?
SolarSean.com. That's solar, SEAN.com. And that's where you can find links to everything, including all my HeatSpring classes. And there's a lot of other great HeatSpring classes out there too.
It's amazing to get a chance to sit with a legend. Thank you for joining us here at the SunCast Media Zone live at NABCEP, brought to you by LG Electronics Energy Storage System.